Okay guys, so you finished laying out your zine and hopefully you learned about a new designer or a new design period that you didn't know before. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this zine and we're going to turn it into an interactive PDF. The good news is that you already have copy, you already have images, and you already have a structure. So that's going to make it easier, but we're really converting this to a whole different medium. And so there's a lot of decisions and choices that you're going to have to make. So the best way to start this is to take your cover art from your zine and maybe bring that over and make it the home page. You've already kind of set up your typefaces and colors and things like that. And then of course you're going to have to move things around because this is more of a horizontal format. Once you do that, you have to decide how you're going to structure the book. Are the chapters going to be the buttons and the pages? So in this case, on my Lustig zine, I had a creative childhood, a new visual language, and legacy and impact. But I've decided on this PDF, because it says a visual biography, I want to break out the typography, the book covers, and the furniture and give them their own page. I might add also some biographical information. I haven't decided. But for now, what I want you to do is just put together the home page and start to think about how you're going to structure it, and I want you to make the button. So this is how you'll do it. The first page, you've got the look of the cover. You might change it out a little bit, but you could start here. And then you're going to go through and you're just going to put a piece of type on these pages saying what's going to be on there. So that's going to be about typography. This is going to be about book covers. And here's where I'm going to put some of his furniture. So once you know that, then of course you have to go to your hyperlinks and you have to define each of these hyperlink destinations. Do you remember that? So all of this is basically from the photographer portfolio that we walked through. Same thing. You define each page as a destination, and then when you make the buttons, you simply go to destination. And I've made a rollover for each of these. And these are set up the same way, except for these, because they appear on every page, are set up on the parent page. So that's how I'm going to arrange this PDF for now. I mean, it's digital, so we can change our mind. I might add or subtract or something like that. So this is what I want you to do this week. I want you to start this conversion from the book to an interactive PDF. You don't have to put in any of the content. In fact, I don't want you to put in the content yet. We'll do that next week. I'm going to show you some techniques for showing multiple images in a kind of a slideshow or hide and reveal, and I even can show you some animation. So all I want you to do now is the first page and the navigation. So I've set up this navigation with my buttons and forms. I set up my navigation for the rest of the document in parent page on a top layer. Now let's try it out. With this play icon, video play icon, make sure you're on all the pages and that you hit play preview. So once I get past the home page navigation is here, and the rollover for these is they just turn red. Then I began to go into with the typography, and then I can go to the book covers and to the furniture. So that's as far as I want you to get this week. Home page plus some navigation pages, and hook up your buttons so that I can open it up and get it working. Since you're working out your buttons, I wanted to give you a little demonstration of different things that you can do with buttons. You don't have to use the typical buttons that you see everywhere. A button in an interactive PDF can be made from any group of items. So let me show you how you can make these buttons from images. This one, I've got the image only, and the image is going to be a button, but on the rollover, it's going to fade. So all I have to do for that is on the normal button, leave it like that, and then on the rollover, I open the image, go to the properties panel, and I just took the opacity down to 34%. Now, when we go to our button, I'll return it to the normal state. So it's one image box, regular, faded. This one, I actually can affect the size of the image. So on the normal, it's just a photo, and on the rollover, the image gets bigger. This one, I actually went in and rotated the image. Normal, rotate. And again, when you're in the rollover state, just click past the button, double click on it, get access to the image, and you can do whatever you want to it, and then return it to normal. This one, all I did was add a stroke to it. There's the normal, there's the rollover. Okay, so let's preview what those look like. Now these buttons are not hooked to anything, it's just the rollover. These are just some things I want you to think of as possibilities. So when someone goes to click on this, it could fade, image could get bigger, it could rotate upside down, or it has a stroke on it. You always want to do something to let them know that they're on an active button. Another thing you could do is you could combine images and text. So in this one, I actually have a type box above on normal, and it shows over on rollover. And let me show you how you can safely deal with it like a type box like this. This is the type box. It appears on rollover. The way that I get it to disappear here is I make the type box really small so the type gets blocked out. Now you could just make the type filled with none. You could, instead of it being black type like it is here, you could make the type filled with none, but it can cause problems. It's better if you just make the type box smaller on the normal state so that it just goes away, and then when you get into the rollover state, you open the box back up. Here's one where when you click on this, the shape is replaced by a black box or any shape, and then the type appears. And the way you do that is you have three things. You have an image box, a shape that covers the image, and then type that goes over the shape, which of course is in white in this particular case. So when you put all of these together, you group them. Once you group all these, you can make it into a button. So you can group 10 things together. As long as they're grouped into one thing, you can turn it into a button. So then if I go to button, on normal, it could be black, but maybe on rollover, the type turns red. And maybe the actual image shows through because we put this on none. And let's go back to that type. Maybe the type turns black. So I have all these boxes to work with. Normal state, nothing. Rollover, there it all is. On this one, the normal state is an image, and the rollover state is just the type. So you can't see the image below. And all it is, again, is three things grouped together: the image, the box, and the type. And you just make one disappear and one appear. This one actually has an image, and then when you do the rollover, the type appears and the image gets faded back. Okay, so now let's try these and see how they work. Type appears above. Shape and type replace the image when I hover over. And you could, of course, do that in reverse. So it could be an image that's replaced by type. And this one, it goes to just type from an image. And again, you could do that the reverse way. And then this one fades back and the type shows up. Okay, so these are some creative, really easy to execute. Once you understand that everything that is grouped together can be a button, and once you get into rollover or the regular state, you can change the qualities of all those items that are grouped together. You can change the size, the type, visibility. Let's look at some just plain type options. The first one is you can change the color, of course. The second one is you can change the size. And the third one is you could change the weight. And of course you could change the background so it goes to solid. So let's see what these look like. Change the color, change the size, change the weight, change the background. And pretty easy, right? Changing the background just means on this state, the background is white and the type is black. When I put it in the rollover state, the type is white and the background is black. In this state, it's like that. In here, I get in there and I just select the type and make it bold. One other thing I want you to consider as you're putting this together is that your buttons can be reflective of the style of your designer or your design period. So my designer, Alvin Lustig, is very kind of crisp, sans serif, plain on a lot of his work. So when I download these pieces of his, which are this book of alphabets that he did, look at all the shapes and things I could pull out of that. I could do my buttons with these circles like they are right there. Maybe some lines after it. Maybe the dot appears out of nowhere when you click on the word book cover. And then I could take the lines, the grid lines, and put the buttons in between those and do some kind of grid or something. And then I looked at this circles with the black line and I thought, oh, maybe I could do something interesting with the type appearing over the circle or the circle appearing when you click on the type or something like that. So definitely stay in the vibe of the designer or the design period that you're working on. And remember that the photographer's portfolio that you worked on in the video I gave you last week tells you how to do a lot of this, how to set up the navigation on the home page and things like that. I just want you to be creative. The designer or the design period that you're making this about, the reason we're talking about it is because they took chances and tried things different. So let's push it and see what we can make this week. As usual, if you have any questions, give me a holler.